Oh. Cool. Welcome to our first mini-pod?
Yes, mini pod.
The Freedom Beef mini-pod.
We can come up with a more clever name eventually. For now, it's the mini pod. But as we go on, we can come up with a.
I got it.
What?
Okay. The Freedom Beef. What day are we putting this out?
Freedom beef slider.
Kill yourself.
Oh,
that was actually pretty good. That was actually pretty good.
Well, I'm trying to think of like beef or burger or steak related thing.
Well, I thought we were gonna just like put it out on Saturday, so I was gonna call it the Saturday Shorty.
Well, I figured I'd put it out on like Thursday or Friday. It'll come out. Let us know. Let us know in a comment when this comes out. I'm not sure when it's going to come out yet. I haven't decided.
Cool.
But
today is a special mini beef.
It is
Mini beef.
mini beef slider.
It's a mini beef slider. Love it.
There we go.
See, give two
trial and error.
Give two dumbasses microphones and a minute to come up with something stupid.
That took us a lot less time than I thought it would, honestly.
Yeah, just ask the Powerpuff Girls. We came up with their name for this podcast real fast. Watching a 3-year-old watch Powerpuff Girls. Anywho,
Yeah.
There's two things in the great state of Nebraska that we give a fuck about, and the first one is, of course, corn. The second one...
And beef.
Yes. So agriculture. The first one. The second one, of course...
Not necessarily in that order, because...
Yeah, I mean, 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The second, of course, being...
Football.
Oh, I was going to say broccoli.
Local brews.
Thundercats.
Nebraskans are very proud of their local beers.
They are. Zipline is...
Zipline, Thunderhead,
is Boulevard?
Blue Blood, Boulevard. Nebraskans are very, very proud of their local brews, mainly because they're very good.
Yeah. I'll enjoy
Empyrean.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is specifically a football preview mini slider.
And we'll be talking about the only important football team in the entire state.
Mm-hmm. Mainly because it's
the Omaha Beef indoor football team. I'm kidding. We're
the
talking
the Lincoln Haymakers.
Was it the Lincoln Dragons?
The Renegades.
The Renegades. The Carney Hawks.
The Nighthawks.
The Leon's miniature football team. Midget football.
Neiman and Sons.
Is it midget football still?
Yeah.
Or is that racial?
I think it's youth football.
Oh, because it's culture insensitive to say midget?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I have a story to tell you off air. Actually, you know what? I'll tell it now.
We have a microphone.
Yeah, I'll tell it now.
Big mic.
There's
a microphone.
We went to Kansas for the football game this last Sunday.
Yep.
Or Saturday. Saturday.
Yep.
And we were sitting at IHOP eating breakfast. Me and one of the coaches look out the window, and there's like 6 midgets walking out of a Motel 6. And we're just like, what?
Do you think they got half off the room?
But like, because
how many do you think fit in one bed? Do they do 4? Do they do 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom?
Maybe 5, 1 in the middle, like a dice or a die.
Maybe. Yeah.
But one was wearing a midget wrestling shirt.
Yeah, because midget wrestling was just in Lincoln, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was at Gray's Keg Saloon.
I fucking hate this life.
Why?
Because it's full of so many dumb fucking things.
Extreme midget wrestling?
Yeah. Oh god.
Just professional wrestling with midgets is essentially little sweet shin music.
Go fuck yourself. Oh fuck. All right. Back to what this podcast is actually supposed to be.
Yeah, what we're supposed to be talking about.
And I will say it's not culturally insensitive. They call themselves midget wrestlers.
Yes.
So.
I guess it depends on the midget.
Little person.
Whatever.
They really hate being called dwarves, though.
Really?
I don't know. Never met one.
I don't know either. But Nebraska has their first football game this Saturday against Akron.
Mascot, the Zips.
The Zips.
Nebraska's currently, I think, last time I looked at 23.5 point favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Good lord.
It's a pretty big margin.
Although it's Akron.
Still.
Yeah.
First game under Frosty Balls. And we'll see how that goes.
And they released the depth chart for
deep.
Akron, and it is deep.
At some spots. At other spots, it is thinner than a paper plate.
It's deep at running back, defensive line, defensive back, and wide receiver.
Yeah.
Is the main, and there's one thing that stands out a lot to me is that there's a lot of oars on this depth chart, as in like
iron ore.
No, as in like
boat ore.
For instance, Greg Bell is currently listed at the top of the depth chart.
Or Maurice Washington.
Or Divino Zigbo, and then you have.
Interesting.
Yes, and then you have.
Where's Maurice Washington on that list?
He is second string.
Is it him or Mikael Wilbon?
It's him or Miles Jones.
What about Jalen Bradley?
He's not on here.
Really?
Yep. And then obviously,
Is he hurt?
I don't know. I have no idea. But which is confusing because the staff at UCF, which is currently now the staff at Nebraska, loved Jalen Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
They were recruiting him to go to UCF.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
So I'm not sure if he's just not picking up the playbook. If he's not,
he got a lot of love in spring. He must be dealing with some injury.
Yeah. And then obviously, for Nebraska fans, we've heard of the absence of Trey Bryant.
He's retired from football.
Yes, who has retired from football due to too many injuries, and of course,
he got back into fall camp, and his knee injuries started to bother him.
His too much knee pain.
Yeah,
and then which you hate to see.
It's unfortunate because he had ungodly amounts of talent.
Yes, he might have been the best running back on the roster.
He might,
if he was completely healthy, like no knee pain, he's probably the best running back on the roster. Maybe other than Greg Bell.
Hot take: if he was 100% healthy, he's the best running back in this nation.
Really?
I would say so. Yes.
Over Bryce Love?
Yes. With no offensive line last year, he ran for unbelievable
almost 300 yards
yeah.
on Arkansas State.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. He's
and monster. It was ridiculous how bad the offensive line was last year. Hopefully that changes.
Well, it's easier blocking. It's mostly zone blocking, so
yeah.
It's easier. And plus, that's what they'll do at the next level anyway.
Yeah.
Because the NFL doesn't do traditional blocking anymore.
You have Brendan Hymas moving to left tackle this year, and to replace Nick Gates.
Interesting.
And he has gotten huge. He's listed at 6'6", 300 pounds.
Wow.
He was 275, 280 last year when he was playing right tackle.
Nice.
Zach Duval's doing work.
Yeah.
Although,
no kidding.
If you've seen the video of Tanner Farmer, which you probably have if you follow like Sports Center on Twitter, you've seen the dude squatting 765 pounds 3 times.
It's a rookie number.
Gotta pump those numbers up.
Right.
And
I
then
did that yesterday.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with your mom.
Shut up.
Your mom's actually really small.
Yeah. Then you have, let's see. You have DiCaprio Boodle at
shit. Fuck.
Which,
Fuck.
and of course,
Fuck.
we're basing our opinions on DiCaprio Boodle off of Diaco's defense. Off of what he did.
Coach of the year while he was at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
No big deal.
No, but he was an awful defensive coordinator at Nebraska.
Debatable.
Really?
I think he didn't have as much controllership.
That might be true. You also have the transfer from UCF, Trey Neal, starting at one of the safety positions.
Is that Ole Miss transfer guy starting?
No, actually. He's not even on the depth chart.
Interesting.
Outside linebackers are Tyron Ferguson and Luke Gifford. Yep, and then backing them up are Alex Davis and Caleb Tanner, the four-star freshman, highly touted pass rusher. I think one position that really surprises me is the wide receiver, where we have Mike Williams starting at one of the wide receiver positions.
So it's Stanley Morgan, Mike Williams, and
J.D. Spielman.
That's a terrifying lineup, though.
Yeah, it is. Especially because you've probably got each running back is probably going to get at least 5 touches.
I think each running back gets probably 8.
Yeah, I was lowballing a little bit.
I'd say 5-10.
But Troy Walters and Ryan Held have talked about wanting to keep their running backs fresh. That when Akron trots out a tired defense, that they have a fresh back,
Mm-hmm.
and that's exciting to hear, because that's not something we've heard ever.
Well,
at Nebraska,
Mike Riley tried to do running back by committee, but the problem was he rode the hot back, and then the hot back got hot and tired.
Yeah, and then he wouldn't switch.
And then he would put in a cold back, and they would fumble.
Yeah. Mikhail Wilbon. Yeah. Mainly Mikhail Wilbon.
Definitely Mikhail Wilbon.
Yeah. Anyway. And then, obviously, we have the hot national news that
Adrian Martinez
is
the starting quarterback.
The first true freshman to start at Nebraska ever. In his first game, I should say.
The
first true freshman to start the opening game ever. Because no,
wasn't Taylor Martinez?
He's a redshirt freshman.
What about Song Armstrong?
He was a redshirt freshman. Bo Pelini had a habit of redshirting the quarterbacks when they got brought in.
Smart move.
It is. It's a smart move. And then obviously we hear today that Tristan Gebbia is transferring.
Which understandable.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's a new coach.
Yeah.
New system. You fought your butt off. You were right there till the end, and then...
Which Michael Bruntz from 24/7 Sports was on the Brett King show talking about the quarterback battle, and he said that if it's really as close as he brought up a good point about it being close and who's going to win the starting job. This was on Friday, and he said that it would make the most sense if it's as close as they're saying it is, to go with the quarterback that fits the system better, rather than the quarterback that realistically you're probably not recruiting anyone.
Yeah.
If you're there when they fire Bo Pelini, you're probably not recruiting Tristan Gebbia, just because he doesn't fit the system. He's not a runner.
Yeah.
Adrian Martinez was brought in as the Golden Boy.
Yeah.
He was Scott Frost's guy.
Yeah, and you also have I think Frost doesn't want to have the built-in excuse of, he's not our quarterback.
Yeah.
He's molding into the system. You're going to get the true freshman out there, take his lumps, and then I think next year Noah Vedral puts in a good fucking case for him to be the starter over Martinez.
It's possible, but that also depends on the year that Martinez has.
True.
Because if Martinez has a really, like a Mackenzie Milton year, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, if he does, but that's a big if.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Milton was putting up stats.
But the last three quarterbacks that Scott Frost has had have led the country in quarterback efficiency.
Vernon Adams led the country in passer efficiency.
Or he was up there.
Vernon Adams was shit.
Yeah, but he was an efficient quarterback.
True. That's because he checked down every play.
That's the offense.
True.
You know, a lot of that offense is checkdowns,
Yeah.
which is why they threw to the tight end a lot at UCF.
Well, it's a quick read offense. It's basically a one-read offense with a quarterback. For those of you who don't know much about football, I'm about to drop a lot of football knowledge very quickly.
This is essentially an overview of what the spread offense is.
So get out a pencil and paper. Class begins now. This is Coach AJ. We're going to head over to my chalkboard. It's a dry erase marker board that I don't have in front of me. Anywho, so basically the concept of the spread offense, specifically the spread offense, Chip Kelly and Mark Helfrich and Scott Frost run,
Yes.
is a very simple offense to make your quarterback have to think as little as possible. So it is a one-read offense. So basically you're reading one guy. There's two routes.
Which is typically probably safety.
It'll be outside linebacker,
No,
safety,
outside
or
linebacker.
corner, depending on the route combination. So you have two routes that are going to force him to make a decision.
Right.
If he doesn't make a decision and he's able to jump both routes, or there's a coverage change, that's when you look to your third option, which is usually your hot route check down.
It's a tight end,
Running back out of the
split,
backfield, something like that.
slot receiver.
Yeah, a drag from the other side of the field, something like that. So that's basically what the offense is predicated on.
It's something that Tim Beck tried to run
But
at
Tim
Nebraska,
Beck is the
but
dumbest fucking piece of shit ever.
Yeah, but was horrible at it because he didn't know how to run it.
And
everyone was trying to replicate what Oregon was doing at the time.
Yeah.
Under Chip Kelly and Scott Frost, or I guess Mark Helfrich.
Scott Frost was the wide receiver coach
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Which is he coaching? He's coaching quarterbacks at Nebraska, isn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
Which obviously makes sense.
No, I think he's a wide receivers coach. No,
No,
Troy Walters is the wide
Walters
receivers
is
coach.
the
Yeah,
wide receivers
then he's
coach.
the quarterbacks coach.
Anyway, but I think you have an interesting situation with Nebraska this year is because you don't really know what to expect because the lines in Vegas have kind of fluctuated a lot because when
I've seen it as low as 5.5 all the way up to like
7.
7.
Yeah, it's fluctuated so much from when Mike Riley was fired to when Coach Frost was hired
to the spring game.
to a couple weeks ago because realistically they could get up to 8 wins.
You know, this is a team.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, I feel like this is a team that's going to win 6 games or it's going to win like 10 games.
Yeah.
Like I think there's no in between.
Yeah, they're either going to be really good or they're
They're
going
take
to make a bowl game. I think 5-7 is probably the least amount of wins you can have this year. I know Scott Frost is the hometown guy, and he's the prodigal son returns. But I think even having another 4-8 season isn't helping the case. Scott Frost has all the time in the world at Nebraska, but 4-8 that kind of shortens the time.
Yeah, that's going to turn a lot of the fans to being like,
here
we go. Not even Frost can fix this.
Right, and I think 5-7 is probably the least amount of wins you can have, just because of the way the schedule is this year.
I think 6-6, you keep the faith.
Yeah.
7-5, everyone's feeling pretty good.
Yep.
You win 8-9,
8-4, 9-3.
People are Boner City.
Yep.
10 wins.
Because
People are
9
thinking he's the
and
Messiah.
3, we might be in the Big Ten championship game.
It depends on who we beat. Yeah.
Yeah. If we because one of those wins would have to be
Against Ohio.
probably Wisconsin.
Hey, we'd have to beat Wisconsin, Northwestern, or Iowa.
Yeah. We might have to beat all 3.
Well,
to be honest.
obviously we'd have to beat all 3, but we could take a loss to one and go 8-4.
I'm going to look up the schedule real quick just to make sure we're on the right page of what.
Yeah, because the
going
gauntlet
on.
is we play Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Iowa,
Yeah.
all this year. That's 5 games.
Yeah.
So you have to win to go 8-3. You have to win at least 2.
Yeah. Because most people are like most Nebraska fans do. They're thinking, okay, first 3 games, 3-0.
Colorado's gonna be a game.
Maybe. I don't know what Colorado looked like this year.
True.
Because they might look like that. They might look like that 10-2 team that was a couple years ago. They might look like they might look like the 3-9 team they were last year.
I think
You know, Colorado's one of those teams that just it fluctuates
they were like 6-6 last year.
or whatever.
They were shit. But
Yeah, they
I don't
weren't.
remember how shit.
Yeah. I'm currently looking up the schedule right now, so
Well, I mean, you open up with Akron this week.
Mm.
It's obviously a win.
yes.
Next week, Troy's going to push you, but you should beat
Yeah,
them.
because Troy's just one of those teams that pushes teams. It's
Yeah. And then Colorado should be a win, you know. And then we round out non-con. No, there's only 3 non-cons.
there's only 3 non-cons because right after that we go to Michigan.
Oh, God. I think we beat Michigan.
I think we do too.
Because I think Michigan is shit.
The only problem is that we go to Ann Arbor.
I think the only problem is Shea Patterson could finally... Is Shea Patterson the quarterback now?
Shea Patterson's the starting quarterback
I
because
think-
Wilton Spate transferred to UCLA.
I think Shea Patterson has the potential to save Jim Harbaugh's job.
I do too.
I think if Jim Harbaugh loses...
But they also have, they're not sure yet, but Tariq Black, one of their wide receivers, and the guy who's been Shea Patterson's #1 target since he was able to start practicing, may be out for the season.
Oh, shit.
So that's a huge hit.
Um,
Because right now we have obviously Akron this weekend, Colorado, Troy. We go to Michigan.
Colorado's next week. I thought Troy was next week.
No, Michigan, Purdue at home.
That's a win.
That's a maybe.
Maybe. You're right. Purdue's...
They've been Big Ten analysts have been saying that it's a coin flip. That when they're predicting, they're going with a coin flip, and a lot of times they're picking Purdue.
Yeah.
Wisconsin in Madison,
Loss.
Northwestern
Win.
in Evanston,
Win. Northwestern.
Minnesota. That's going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
There's no way that it's close after what happened last year.
Yeah.
Ohio State in Columbus. That's a loss. I think.
Loss. Big loss.
Illinois at home, Michigan State at home, and then Iowa in Iowa City. Which I think Iowa is a win.
I think Michigan State is a coin flip. Michigan State and Purdue are the coin flips on that schedule.
So right now, if we go 1, 2, 3, let's go with the coin flip for Nebraska beating Purdue because it's a home game.
Okay. Get a slight edge.
Yep.
So 4-0.
4.
No, 4-1 because lost to Michigan.
Yep. 4-2 Wisconsin.
Okay.
5-2, 6-2, 7-2. Wait, 7-3. With a loss to Ohio State.
Okay.
8-3 with a win against Michigan because it's at home.
Michigan State.
Yeah. And then Iowa's that decider on whether you hit 9.
I think that's a pretty fair shake.
I
think I'm gonna. If I put money on it right now, I'm saying 8-4.
And I think
I think they're gonna surprise some people.
yes, but I think they beat Iowa this year because they're hurt. Like they've lost 4 out of the last 5.
Yeah.
And that's embarrassing to a team like Iowa that is very inconsistent.
Yeah, and they lost their best running back.
They lost their best running back,
defensive player.
their best defensive player. They lost a lot.
Didn't they lose their quarterback too?
They lost their corner, their best corner in the country last year.
Yeah,
corner.
whatever that award is.
The Thorpe, I think, is what it is.
That Thorpe's for the kicker or punter.
You're thinking of Lou Groza.
The Groza's the punter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Jim Thorpe is the defensive back.
Yeah, you're right.
But I think they're obviously going to want revenge because they got decimated at Memorial Stadium last year. You and I were there. We watched it on the screens when we were able to when concessions went.
Yeah, we were in concessions that game.
And it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Like midway through the second quarter, it started to get bad.
Yeah.
Because Tanner Lee started doing Tanner Lee things. And the defense started doing defense things.
He tried to be a superhero and basically just shit his pants.
Yeah, and I'm really disappointed that we did not recruit Noah Fant.
Well, that's one of those. That's revisionist history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and an in-state kid that you should get.
But you don't
Like-
know what he's going to turn out to be. And
Right.
The same thing was like.
Well, either way, I think you need to get the top guys in Nebraska. at least the top 3 recruits in Nebraska should be going to Nebraska every year, or at least 2 of them. You know, because if you lose one to I'm just saying, if you're going to put as much in in-state recruiting as like Mike Riley tried to say he was, you need to be getting those guys. If you're gonna, if there's, because they talked a lot about the 500-mile radius and about in-state recruiting, and then you have stories like Bryson Williams,
where he said that they didn't give a shit.
Yeah, which, you know, looking back, they had that kid from York, you know, the defensive tackle from York that ended up going JUCO. You know who I'm talking about?
No. I know the
Mayhew, or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had him, and they said that they weren't going to take any more defensive tackles. Which, again, revisionist history, if they knew what was going to happen with him, they would have obviously recruited Williams a lot harder, I think.
Mm.
But they also thought that he wasn't a fit for the 3-4. They didn't think he was a fit for the 3-4, and he's second on the depth chart in Wisconsin right now at nose tackle in a 3-4.
Yeah,
he's pretty good.
No, I agree.
I don't, because and that's one thing too is I think that might be one criticism I have of Frost and his staff, is that they blame Mike Riley and his staff for a lot.
Well,
you've heard a lot of, well, that was the old staff.
Well, you have to tear down the old culture.
I agree, but
I mean,
you know, at some point you just got to stop.
They had a month to basically, you know, try to recover. Like, he even, you know, reached out to the guys that
he reached out to Bookie. Who is slated to start for Oklahoma, by the way. But anyway, he reached out to him. He reached out to Bryson Williams, who said that if he had like one more week to decide, he probably would have flipped.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those.
He reached out to. It just. It is what it is, I guess.
But yeah, I think now the excuses are over.
Yeah.
Fall camp has started. You've had a full spring.
You've got your starting quarterback. You've got your depth chart set.
Yep.
You've got.
It's time to put up or shut up. 2 or 3
transfers starting right now.
It's like it ain't.
It's not.
It ain't time to blame old people. It's your gig.
Yeah. One thing I think we need to understand is that Stanley Morgan might not get to 1,000 yards this year. Is that people
might get to 2,000.
Well, I think people are putting a lot of pressure on Stanley Morgan and talking about how he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver. He was so close last year, which realistically, he's even said that he left probably 100 yards on the field last year in drops alone.
And the fact he missed a game.
Yeah. You know, but like last year, UCF had a 1,000-yard receiver in Traquan Smith, who only had 55 catches on the year. So we're not going to have the ball is going to be spread around a lot more, I think, this year than it was last year. It's not going to be. We're not going to have nobody's going to have like an 80 catch season.
Yeah, and my thing is, you know, everyone's going to be keying Stanley Morgan.
Yeah. Which frees up Tyjon Lindsey, J.D. Spielman, Mike Williams.
I mean, I'll put this out here right now. I think Nebraska's leading receiver this year is going to be J.D. Spielman.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yards-wise,
I'm excited for what Tyjon Lindsey can do.
I think Tyjon Lindsey is going to be a good footholder for a little bit, and he's going to continue to not be useful whatsoever.
Well, that also remains to be seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Mike Riley and his staff were very bad about
player development
and cycling guys in. You know, you had like 3 guys playing all year, and Tyjon Lindsey got in on like 4 games.
Yeah.
Like as far as like getting a catch in 4 games, he had like 4 catches or something like that. He barely played,
Yeah.
And he's like,
Look at us blaming Mike Riley already.
no, that's not. We can blame Mike Riley all day if we
True.
really if we really wanted to, because we can. There's just so much that's come out after the fact that like him and his staff telling the players that if they didn't want to lift, they didn't have to.
Right.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You lift.
Yeah. For sure.
Especially if you're an offensive lineman or defensive lineman,
Yeah.
you lift.
Well, I think it's put up or shut up time.
Yeah, it's.
And I think it's time for us to shut up.
I think more than ever for Nebraska, it's put up or shut up time.
Yeah.
With Scott Frost as head coach.
Yeah.
And
You get 1 year of transition, and I think next year it's 100% you win games or
because the schedule kind of flips next year.
yeah.
Is we have an easy schedule next year.
Yeah.
Well, compared to this year, as far as away games and what we have to, because we play like Indiana, Maryland.
Yeah, we get the shit.
Yeah, we get the shit teams.
East.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that's our
first
ever.
slider.
What was it? The mini beef slider.
Mini beef slider.
Ah, I love it.
I do too.
It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
All right, that was our first mini beef slider. Time for us to put up and shut up, and don't be a bitch.
Yeah.